ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ।
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਹਰ ਚੌਥੜੀ ਲਾਭ ਮਨ ਸਹਿਜ ਭਇਆ, ਹਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਬਲਰਾਮ ਜੀਓ। ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਸੁਭਾਏ, ਹਰ ਮਨ ਤਨ ਮੀਠਾ ਲਾਇਆ ਬਲਰਾਮ ਜੀਓ। ਹਰ ਮੀਠਾ ਲਾਇਆ ਮੇਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਭਾਇਆ, ਅਨ ਦਿਨ ਹਰ ਲਿਵ ਲਾਈ। ਮਨ ਚਿੰਦਿਆ ਫਲ ਪਾਇਆ ਸੁਆਮੀ, ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਵੱਜੀ ਵਾਧਾਈ। ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਕਾਜ ਰਚਾਇਆ, ਧਨ ਹਿਰਦੈ ਨਾਮ ਵਿਗਾਸੀ। ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਬੋਲੇ ਚੌਥੀ ਲਾਵੈ, ਹਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਅਵਨਾਸੀ। ਹਰ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਠਾਕੁਰ ਕਾਜ ਰਚਾਇਆ, ਧਨ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਵਿਗਾਸੀ। ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਬੋਲੇ ਚੌਥੀ ਲਾਵੈ, ਹਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਅਵਨਾਸੀ। ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਬਚਨ। ਹਰ ਚੌਥੜੀ ਲਾਭ ਮਨ ਸਹਿਜ ਭਇਆ। Just before we go into trying to understand what is this Sehaj that Guru Ramdas Ji Padsha Ji is talking about. 2 weeks ago when we went through the third Laav, Guru Ramdas Ji Padsha Ji spoke about the state of Bairag. Those that feel that pain of separation from inside. Different to the second Laav, even though Padsha Ji speak about in the second Laav, about that state of mind when somebody becomes aware of Waheguru Ji's presence to be all around, to be inside, to be outside. Padsha Ji speak about that avastha, that state of mind when you feel the presence of Waheguru Ji to be everywhere, but not yet merged back into Waheguru Ji, but they realize the presence of Waheguru Ji. And then as they realize that presence of Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji, there's now that pain from inside of wanting to become one with Waheguru Ji and to merge into Waheguru Ji. They start to feel detached from this world. Karke ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਸਨ. Even though there's an avastha when somebody recites Waheguru Ji's name from inside and reciting and calling out to Waheguru Ji. But then there's calling out to Waheguru Ji in that pain, when you no longer can tolerate that separation. And when we call out to Waheguru Ji in that pain of wanting to become one, if we look at this more carefully, that in the actual third Laav, Guru Ramdas Ji Padsha Ji already speak about becoming one and meeting Waheguru Ji. So Guru Ramdas Ji Padsha Ji is saying that when somebody calls out Waheguru Ji in that state of pain from inside, in no longer being able to tolerate that separation, and then they say what happens? Sant jana har mel, har paya, they actually get to obtain Waheguru Ji. So that becoming, that obtaining Waheguru Ji is actually spoke about in the third Laav. The fourth Laav, what does Guru Ramdas Ji Pacha Ji do in the fourth Laav? They actually speak about that person when they've met Waheguru Ji, when they become one with Waheguru Ji. Then what is their state of being? What are they like then when they've actually met Waheguru Ji? That's what the Chauthi Laav, the fourth state, is actually about. So they're saying, what will that person be like once they have already met Waheguru Ji? Because in the third Laav, Guru Ramdas Ji has already cleared that. That from pain of calling out to Waheguru Ji, they meet Waheguru Ji. Being amongst those Sant Jana, those humble servants of Waheguru Ji. But then Guru Ramdas Ji har Chauthri Laav, in the fourth Laav, in the fourth state of mind, what is it like to be with Waheguru Ji? If you meet somebody that has met Waheguru Ji, what will they be like? That's what the fourth Laav tells us. Kende man Sehaj paya. Guru Ramdas Ji saying their mind will be in Sehaj. Man Sehaj paya har paya, because they met Waheguru Ji now. Before, even myself, I used to look at it like this. I used to think that the avasthas go in this order, that when somebody experiences Bairag, from Bairag, then they go into state of mind of Sehaj, and only when somebody reaches that state of mind of Sehaj, I know we haven't gone through what Sehaj is yet, but when somebody reaches that state of Sehaj, then they meet Waheguru Ji, once they go through Sehaj. That's how I looked at it before. But thus, I was reading Baljit Singh Ji's steek, which is called Anek Baniya, and when they speak about the Laavan then, Baljit Singh Ji put it beautifully, and they said, actually, they said Sehaj Avastha is that Avastha when you've already met Waheguru Ji, it's not before. They said Sehaj Avastha comes to that person that has already met Waheguru Ji, then you get to experience, you get to see Sehaj Avastha in them, because Sehaj Avastha is our true self. What Bhagat Farid Ji talk about, that aap sawar hai, main mil hai, that meeting our true self, having that realization of our soul, that is a part of Paramatma. Only when we have that realization of a true self and we go deep inside, only then we actually get to experience Sehaj Avastha, when we've already become one with Waheguru Ji. So Pacha Ji kende har Chauthri Laav man Sehaj paya har paya Balaram Jiyo. But what is Sehaj Avastha? Because what should our kasavati be? What should our touchstone be? Because a lot of people claim things about people. A lot of people make that statement and say such and such person is a Brahmagyani. A lot of people will say such and such person is in Sehaj Avastha, in that state of mind. But truly, to make statements like that, truly to say that I've met Waheguru, if somebody claims that, if somebody is saying that person has met Waheguru Ji, then what is our touchstone? We need to then check that against Gurbani, and Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha Ji's Bani we'll look at first in Sukhmani Sahib. They're explaining Sehaj Avastha, but they're just using slightly different words to explain this. The Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha Ji kende Prabh ki agya atam hitave, Jeevan Mukt Sau Kahave. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha Ji in Sukhmani Sahib's Bani, they're saying Prabh ki agya, and Waheguru Ji, Prabh ki agya meaning Waheguru Ji's order, Waheguru Ji's hukam. That person, Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying Prabh ki agya atam here means mind. Atma here not meaning our soul, because it's come without a kanna, and often in Gurbani when it comes without a kanna, it's referring to our mind and not our atma. So over here kende Prabh ki agya, Waheguru Ji's order, jiri agya ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਤਮ ਹਿਤਾਵੇ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ those people ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਿਤਾਵੇ, the word hit means love, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਿਤਾਵੇ, those people, if we translate this literally, that means those people that are in love with Waheguru Ji's agya, with Waheguru Ji's hukam. What does that mean? That person that accepts Waheguru Ji's order in absolute sweetness, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ Waheguru Ji ਦਾ ਭਾਣਾ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਲੱਗੇ, whatever Waheguru Ji is doing, that person that accepts Waheguru Ji is doing to be sweet, Prabh ki agya atam hitave. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha saying Jeevan Mukat Sau Kahave. They're saying that person is Jeevan Mukat. Jeevan meaning whilst they are still alive, Jeevan Mukat, Mukat meaning liberated. Jivan Mukt is the same thing as Sehaj Avastha, that state of being, somebody that reaches that state of mind of being in Sehaj. Sehaj and Jivan Mukt are the same thing. So Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying, Kende Jivan Mukt, that person can say, I am liberated, I am free whilst I am alive. Jivan Mukt so kahave, Kende wo apne aap nu kaha sakda. They're not even saying, in actual fact, if you look at that in more detail, they're not saying that person can say that. They're saying their being is saying that for them. Prabh ki aagya atma hitaave Jivan Mukt so kahave. And then Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah goes into giving examples of that person. Kende taisa hark, taisa us sog. Kende how will that person be living? Kende taisa hark. Hark means joy. When a joyous time comes to that person's life. Kende taisa hark, taisa us sog. Sog means when sorrow comes into that person's life. They treat both of these emotions as one. Because what does it mean to become one with Waheguru? Kitho upje, ke rahe, kehe mahe samave. Kitho upje, where have we come from? Apa aaye kitho? Where have we come? Kitho upje, kehe rahe, where are we now? Where is our state of mind now? Kitho upje, kehe rahe, kehe mahe samave. And what is it that we need to go back and merge back into? That's that ek Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji. What does it mean that we've become one with Waheguru Ji? It means that taisa hark, as that time of joy comes in our life, taisa hark, taisa us sog, and as that time of sorrow comes in one's life, they treat both emotions to be one. They see both things to be as one, because now they're connected to one. There is no duality left in their life. Dooja da ona de jeevan vich ਰਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. ਪ੍ਰਭ ਤੁਧ ਬਿਨ ਦੂਜਾ ਕੋ ਨਹੀਂ. There is no other than Waheguru Ji Akal Purkh for me now. There is just one now. So even all of these things that come in my life, I take him to be the same. What does it mean that they're not affected by hark, they're not affected by joy? When a joyful time comes in their life, they don't forget Waheguru Ji, they don't forget the giver of gifts that have given something to them for that joy to come to their life. When that time of joy comes to their life, they don't start looking down on other people. Taisa hark, taisa us sog. When that time of sorrow comes, they don't slander Waheguru Ji to say, what have you done? When we're saying sorrow, they're not even affected by sorrow. What the world thinks to be sorrow, they don't see it to be sorrow or joy. They see everything as one now. That doesn't take them down. Taisa hark, taisa us sog. Guru Paatshah kende sada Anand te nahi beyog. We're talking about Anand Karaj. What is Anand Karaj? Anand Karaj is Sada Anand. When you find this time of bliss, when you find forever happiness inside, that is that true Anand Karaj. Kande Sada Anand tehe nahi biyog. Kande Anand comes when? Kande when tehe nahi biyog, when there is no separation. Biyog means separation. When nothing separates you from Waheguru, whether it be joy in your life, whether it be sorrow in your life, but nothing can separate you from Waheguru Ji now. Just like that time came when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji is laying down in Machiwade da jungle. Aurangzeb was waiting for this day. Aurangzeb thought once that day comes in Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji's life, when he loses his children. When a day comes in Guru Gobind Singh Ji's life when Guru Gobind Singh Ji does not know where his mother is, he does not know whether his two younger children are, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji does not know what's going to happen to his house, Anandpur Sahib, is he going to be able to return back to it? And that day Aurangzeb is thinking, कि आज तां जरूर गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी पातशाह जी उस रब नूं मेहणा मारूगे कि मैनू तुसीं कित्थे जाके पहुंचा दिता है. Where have you got me to? That I meditated on your name, I did everything in your name, O Waheguru Ji. What have you done to me today? I'm left here, I've got thorns in my feet. मेरे हुण अज मेरे पैरां विच कंडे ने. औरंगजेब सोचदा सीगा जे किते गुरु गोबिंद सिंह जी पातशाह दे जीवन विच उन्हां नूं इह किते दिन देखणे पै जाण तां जरूर ਉਹ रब नूं लामा देणगे. They will truly say to God, where have you put me today? But no, Guru Sikh Pyareo, what is to be Sada Anand? What does it mean to be in forever bliss, in that permanent state of bliss? What does it mean to be in Sehaj Avastha? What does it mean to be Jivan Mukta? Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji says instead, Mittar Pyare Nu ਹਾਲ ਮਰੀਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ. What does Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah do instead? They sing out to Waheguru Ji. They say Mittar Pyare Nu. This is a three-way conversation. There's Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji and there's Bhai Sangat Singh. The last few Singhs that became Shaheed in Chamkor di Gadi. As they've taken Shaheedi, as now their souls are going to merge back with Waheguru Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji saying, can they owe to the soul of Bhai Sangat Singh, who's just become Shaheed, Guru Gobind Singh Ji saying, Mittar Pyare Nu. Hal Muridan da Kahna, Hal Murid. Murid means servant. Hal means state. Hal Muridan da Kahna. They said, tell that Waheguru Ji. And what are they referring to Waheguru Ji as? Because we got to think now of ourselves. When such suffering comes in our life, how do we refer to Waheguru Ji? And how is Guru Gobind Singh Ji referring to Waheguru Ji? How does somebody in Sehaj Avastha, when they've met and they're one with God, how do they refer to Waheguru Ji even during that time? Even when they've seen their son's chests being ripped open with arrows, how do they still see Waheguru Ji after that? Mittar. They're still referring to Waheguru Ji as a mittar, as a friend. ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿਣੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸੌਖੀਆਂ ਨੇ. These things are easy to say. But after seeing all of this, they're still saying, Waheguru Ji, you are my friend. Mittar pyare nu pyara, my beloved. They're saying, oh Sangat Singh Ji, so they said, tell Waheguru Ji, my beloved friend Mittar pyare nu hal muridan da kehna, tell him the state of their servant. Tud bin rog rajayan da odan nag navasan de rehna. Tud bin. They said, oh Waheguru Ji, if I had forgotten you, tud bin rog. They said, what is it? They said, it's a disease if I forget you. They said, being lying here outside in the jungles having thorn in my feet, they said, that's not a disease for me. Can they, only if I forget you, then that's a disease. That's pain. They said, but even these thorns, I accept them sweetly. Because why? Because I still have your remembrance. That's what it means to be in Sehaj Avastha. ਤਾਂ Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਦਾ ਆਨੰਦ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵਿਯੋਗ. In that state of mind, there is no separation from Waheguru. If there's no separation from Waheguru Ji, then there is constant Anand. There's permanent Anand. There's that happiness that you find from inside that can never be taken away. ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ Paatshah Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਸਾ ਸੁਵਰਨ ਤੈਸੀ ਉਸ ਮਾਟੀ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਸਾ ਸੁਵਰਨ. Suvaran means gold. There's a lot of people, when they have these things in their life, they have things like gold in their life, they have all these riches, they have all these pleasures and comforts. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਸਾ ਸੁਵਰਨ, ਤੈਸੀ ਉਸ ਮਾਟੀ. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying that person that has become Jivan Mukat, to them gold and mitti and dust is alike, is the same. Another way to look at that. That means tæsa suvaran, that one day if I've got gold, one day I might even have a house that's made out of gold. Tæsa suvaran tæsi usmati. They're saying, but one day, if a day comes in my life, that gold that I have around me, and if I lose all of that gold, if for whatever reason I have all the riches in the world, but then I have to see the days of poverty and I lose everything I have, tæsa suvaran tæsi usmati, and my gold turns into dust, I still remain the same. My state of mind remains one, because now I am with that Ek Akal Purkh Waheguru Ji. I still see gold in the dust, and I see dust in the gold. And I remain the same. If I lose the gold and it turns into dust, but one day if that dust turns into gold, I still remain the same. There's no effect. The gold doesn't bring ego into my life, and that dust, it doesn't take my mind down into the gutters and say to Waheguru Ji, where have you put me today? I still live in acceptance. Tæsa suvaran tæsi usmati, tæsa amrit tæsi bik khati. Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying tæsa amrit, just like amrit is to me something sweet here, not talking about khande bate da amrit. They're talking about just being something being sweet. And tæsa amrit tæsi bik khati. Bik means poison, khati means something bitter. Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying, for that person that's found that Sehaj Avastha, and they just like something sweet is to them like amrit tæsi bik khati, even if they've got something better like poison, and they take them both things to be the same. And what does that mean in somebody's life? Whether one day somebody's got beautiful foods and they're enjoying sweet delicious things in their life, But one day, if they haven't got those sweet bhojans in front of them, and they even have to eat things that are absolutely bitter, they take them to be the same, and their state of mind remains the same as well. It doesn't waver and doesn't fall. Tasa amrit dasi bik khati. Whether somebody is speaking sweetly to them, somebody is saying sweet words like amrit to them, whether bik khati, whether somebody is spewing poison towards them with bitter words, they still remain the same. That's another way of looking at it. Kande tasa amrit tasi bik khati, tasa man, tasa abhiman, tasa man. Man means honor. Tasa man, tasa abhiman. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji is saying, whether it mean somebody's got their honor in place, whether somebody's being honored, somebody's being glorified, they remain the same. Tasa man, tasa abhiman. Abhiman means when somebody instead is doing the opposite to them, when somebody's bringing them down, somebody's dishonoring someone, they remain the same. It doesn't mean that if somebody sat here and done kirtan one day and they're expecting to be honored by somebody. Some people live off that. Some people make that into their khuraak of their life. Some people live off being honored. If somebody's done beautiful katha, somebody's done beautiful kirtan, but if somebody doesn't honor them and say, well done, that was amazing, they actually can't sleep at night. Thinking, aaj ta mainu kisi ne kuch kiya hi nahi. Aaj ta mere kisi ne maan hi nahi kita. They tasa man, tasa abhiman, but they remain that person that isn't affected. Whether somebody glorifies them or not, or whether somebody dishonors them, they still remain the same. Tasa man, tasa abhiman. Tasa rank, tasa rajan. The Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji kende tasa rank. Rank means a pauper. Tasa rajan. Rajan means a king. That person that has reached that state of mind, they remain the same. They will treat a king and a pauper the same. They won't give a special treatment to a king to say just because of his state that the world have him in, that position that the world put him in. They treat them saying that they don't treat him any different. These things are easier said than done. We got to think about these things. The way we treat people out there. Somebody that's got a status, somebody that's got a bit of power, because Rajan also means power. Somebody that's got a bit of power in their life, how do we end up treating them? But Guru Arjan Dev Ji saying that person that's met God, that's in Sehaj Avastha, they don't care for whether they've got power in this world. They don't care whether they're an MP. They don't care whether they're the chief minister of a state anywhere. That doesn't bother them. Tasa rang, tasa rajan. And it's not that they look down at a pauper as well. They treat both of them the same. Jo vartaye sai jogat, nanak oho purkh kahiye जीवन मुक्त. जो वर्ताए, whatever जो भी वाहिगुरु जी वर्ता रहे ने, whatever वाहिगुरु जी is doing, जो वर्ताए साई जोगत, they remain that in that jogat, in that way that is वाहिगुरु जी is doing, they accept that sweetly. Then Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, Nanak oho purkh, that person, Nanak oho purkh kahiye जीवन मुक्त, that person is liberated whilst they're alive, that person is free. If you look at this example from Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah Ji of somebody that's reached Sehaj Avastha. Sehaj Avastha means when you meet your true self from inside, what will that person be? The Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Paatshah Ji कहते जो नर दुख में दुख नहीं माने, जो नर दुख में दुख नहीं माने. Just to understand this, what is Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji say? कहते जो nar means person, being, a human being, anybody. कहते जो नर दुख में, in the midst of suffering, कहते no matter how much difficult time comes in that person's life, जो नर दुख में दुख नहीं मानने. So it's not saying that a difficult time isn't going to come in their life, because a lot of people, they're mistaken and they think this. They think, well, if I keep my case, then everything's going to go well for me. I'm never going to lose my job. I'm going to get promoted. Everything's going to go well for me now. I'm never going to get ill. They're saying once I start reading Gurbani, once I start doing part, then nothing can ever go wrong for me on a worldly term as well. This is what people think. And a lot of people actually take on dharam for that purpose. They're saying, Ekwari, then once I do this, then I know, then the person I want to marry, that's going to happen. If it doesn't happen, then what has God done for me? Because a lot of people just lose their faith in these things. We started going through this in one of the other diwans as well, but I think it's important to understand what Guru Arjan Dev Ji is saying. Kende das bastu le, something what happens. Kende often we receive 10 things from God. Because if we look at now, even if we look inside of us, there's many things that God has given us that we start overlooking and we don't even appreciate. Sometimes we only look at the obvious things. We think, oh, God's provided me with a house. But we need to look at even deeper than that. Some people say, well, look how amazing it is that God's provided us with food. But something even deeper and even something more amazing than that, have we even thought about? God's provided us with the gift of bhukh, of hunger. And we're thinking, what kind of gift is that? Think about it, Guru Sikh Pyaro. If we didn't even ever feel hungry, and this body needs food to survive, but if we didn't even get hungry, we would have no even drive and desire to eat. Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to beat our pleasures, and we try and say that we need to overcome the pleasure of our tongue. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji in Asadi Vadi said, "Main ta vismad vich ja raha aa." Kende vismad bhukh, vismad bhog. Kende vismad means when you're in awe of something. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that, they said, when I think of God, they said, I'm in awe of God. Why? They said, I say wow to God. For what reason? Kende vismad bhukh, because God has given me the gift of hunger. If I didn't feel hungry, I wouldn't even feel that drive to eat. How many hours would we go without eating then? We wouldn't even nourish our body. Look how amazing that gift is of actually feeling hungry. Vismad bhukh, vismad bhog. Bhog means to enjoy that food. Bhog means to enjoy. Imagine if we didn't enjoy what we're eating. We might not even want to eat again if we don't get to enjoy it, if we didn't have that taste bud. That gift of taste that Waheguruji has given us, if we didn't have that gift of taste, we might not even have that drive to eat as often as this body needs to eat. Look how deep the concepts are of how Waheguruji has made us. Ramaiya ke gun chet prani kavan moolte kavan dristani jintu Sehaj sivar singarya. That person, that Waheguruji that has made us, jintu Sehaj, sajya jinne, that Waheguruji that has made us, when we start thinking of the details of how Waheguruji has made us, it's amazing. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is talking about Sehaj Avastha, kende jo nar, that person, kende jo nar dukh main, in the midst of dukh. Because we were talking about people think when they take upon a godly path, when they walk towards the Guru, that no dukh is going to come. Kende how do we know that Waheguruji is actually happy with us? How do we know that Satguru Ji, that Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah Ji is actually happy with us? Kende Satgur hoye diyal ta dukh na janiye. How do we know that I've got kirpa of my Guru now? Kende Satguru hoye diyal. Kende I know that Waheguruji is happy with me. Waheguruji is showering the mercy on me. How do I know this? Satguru hoye diyal ta dukh na janiye, that I don't think nothing of the dukh that has come into my life. Dukh has come into my life, but I don't think nothing of it. I can tolerate that pain now, I can tolerate that suffering now. Because if you think about it, if we think that no hard time's going to come in our life when we take the step towards our Guru, look at the life of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. If you look at it on the outside, it looks like Guru Gobind Singh Ji on the outside, they've had the life that they've had. It looks like that it's actually something that everybody else would want to run away from. It's a type of life that we would want to say that we're trying to avoid. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's lost their house. At the age of 9, they've sent their father, they lost their father. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji is only 38 years old, and they don't know where their mother is, where their 2 younger sons are. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Paatshah Ji, they had so much granth, so many things that they had written, all of that gone in Sarsa Nadi. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji's 3 pyare maaf karna, 3 of the 5 pyare, 3 pyare become shaheed and chamkor gadi. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, if you look at it on the outside, on a worldly level, they lost so much. But there's one thing Guru Gobind Singh Ji hasn't lost, that is the praise of Akal Purkh. Just like we went through Mittar Pyare nu, Hal Muridan da Kehna, Tud Min Rog Rajayan da Odan Nag Nivasan de Rehna. That's what it means, Gursikh Pyar, to be in Sehaj Avastha. It doesn't mean, what does it mean? That it means, Satguru ji says, Satguru hoye diyar ta dukh na janiye, ta dukh auga jo nar dukh main, dukh de vich dukh main, dukh nahi manne. But he doesn't get caught up in that dukh. Oh manada nahi dukh nu kuch vi. He doesn't accept that dukh. He still nirlep from that dukh. He still sees everything to be a gift of Waheguru. Ketiyan dukh, ਭੂਖ ਸਦ ਮਾਰ ਇਹ ਪੀ ਦਾਤ ਤੇਰੀ ਦਾਤਾਰ. That person still says, even when that dukh, that suffering is thrown at them, ketiyan dukh, ਭੂਖ, even if hunger is thrown at them, ketiyan dukh, ਭੂਖ ਸਦ ਮਾਰ, even if they feel that they're getting struck down all the time, there's dukh coming to them all the time, even after all that they say eh pੀ ਦਾਤ. They say, Waheguru ji, even this is a gift of yours. Prabhu ki agya atmahtaave, those people that accept Waheguru ji's will sweetly. Epi daat teri datar, O giver of gifts. I don't only take my house as a gift. I don't only take my son as a gift. I don't only take those things that I feel that the world has perceived me to be what is said to be right, that things are going right in my life. I don't only take those as a gift. Because dukh and sukh is just a perception of our mind, of how we perceive things. But asal vich there's nothing. There's only ek, there is no dukh, there's no sukh. None of these actually exist in a Gurmukh's life. Jo nar dukh main, dukh nahi manne, jera dukh nu manada nahi. Katik karm kamavne dos na kahun jog, parmeshwar te bhuleya, vyapan sabbe rog. Vemukh hoye Ram te lagan janam vijog. Vemukh hoye Ram te. Pathji kehne, those that turn their back to God, those that can't accept what is happening in life sweetly, Vemukh hoye Ram te lagan, what will happen to them? Lagan janam vijog. Instead, they will remain separated from Waheguru ji, which is the most painful thing anybody can go through, which is the biggest of sufferings. Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Dukh vishoda, ek dukh bhuk, ek dukh sakt var jam doot, ek dukh rog lage tan tae. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Path says, Dukh vishoda. Can the separation is the biggest dukh. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Path is saying, Vemukh hoye Ram te, but when you turn your back from God, when you can't appreciate what God's game is, when you don't understand, and you don't call God your friend, and you don't call God your lover, and you don't call God your beloved, even during the time when it's the midst of pain in your life, then Vemukh hoye Ram te, that's what it means to turn your face from God. Vemukh hoye Ram te lagan janam vijog. Actually what we've done, we've just made things worse for ourselves. Then janam vijog. Many lifetimes will remain vijog separated. Jo nar dukh main, dukh nahi manne. But those that don't accept dukh even when it comes to them, and from inside they remain unmoved, untouched. Kende sukh sneho, sukh sneho, aur bhai nahi jaake, aur bhai nahi jaake. Those that aren't touched by these things, what? Sukh sneho. Sneho means love. This is amazing what Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is telling us. Kende sukh sneho. Those that people don't fall in love with sukh. How deep is this? Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Path is saying, somebody that who is Jivan Mukta, who is in Sehaj Avastha, who really has got the kirpa, who is it that's merged with Waheguru? Kende sneho, we can look at that to be attachment as well as love. Kende sukh sneho aur bhai nahi jaake, that person that isn't attached to this sukh. What does that mean? कि आज मेरे को सुख है, कि आज मैं तो सारा कुछ, सारे पदार्थ ने आज मेरे को, आज मैं तो 36 प्रकार दा भोजन है मेरे को, that I keep God in mind because I've got these 36 delicacies. So sukh sneho. But that person, je kite ode jeevan vich sama aa jawe, if a time comes in their life that sukh, that 36 delicacies, that beautiful food is taken away from them because they lose everything, but they're not attached to that sukh. They still remain the same when they wake up the next morning and everything is taken out of their hands for whatever reason, because whatever has come in their way in their life. That person that isn't attached to what they've got, that person that isn't attached. Their support hasn't become that physical person, that their partner even, that is in their life. If that person is there one day, if they aren't there the other days, then sukh saneho ar pay nahi jaake, they are free, they're liberated because they weren't attached to that sukh that was given to them. Ar pay nahi jaake, pay means fear. And people that don't live in fear of what? Those people that have got sukh, those people that have got luxuries of the world, what do they live in? They live in fear of losing what they've got. They're thinking, I've got this position. Instead of being sukhi, they live in fear. Chint pavan man pareo hamara. What happens? Their mind goes into a whirlpool of anxiety that the position I've got at work, I don't want to lose this. So they're not even enjoying what they've got. They're actually in anxiety because they're afraid of losing what they've got. So they're not even enjoying the sukh that they've been given. Sukh saneho ar pay nahi jaake, kanchan mati mane. But Gursikh Pareo, Path ji kende chint pavan man pareo hamara, kende naam bina, kaise uttar sapara, kende asal vich kende naam to bagair teri gal hi nahi bani. We can have all of these things, but whilst having all of these things, we'll still have that fear. Only until we take God's name into our heart. That's the only time we're going to start becoming free from these things. Apnu naam japana pauga. Sukh sanay ar pay nahi jaake, kanchan mati mane. That person that looks at kanchan, the gold, and does just the same thing as Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha Ji said. Kende gur kirpa jeh narko kini te eh jogat pashani. Kende gur kirpa teh narko jeh narko kini. Kende that kirpa, kende jera Guru kirpa karuga na jera, whoever Guru Pacha Ji does kirpa upon, whoever Guru Sahib Ji blesses, whoever Guru Sahib Ji is merciful towards, kende gur kirpa. Remember one thing, ek kadi bhi nahi bhulna, whenever, even if somebody has obtained something in life spiritually, kadi nahi sochna ke main kita. Always remember, it's always because of the grace of the Guru. Gur kirpa jeh narko kini te eh jugat pashani. Only then they were able to recognize this way of life, to remain detached whilst being amongst in the midst of everything. Guru Pacha Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਸਾ ਮਨਸਾ ਸਗਲ ਤਿਆਗੇ ਜਗਤੇ ਰਹੇ ਨਿਰਾਸਾ. Asa means hopes. Asa mansa sagar tyage jagte rahe nirasa. That person that remains in this world. And when we look at it from the outside, it looks like asa mansa. We're thinking, I'm supposed to go through this life without even without having any hope in life, without having any desire in life. No, because if we have no hope in life, we won't be able to survive. How are we going to get on in life? But what is a true gurmat? A true gurmukh is that person that asa mansa sagar tyage, that lets go of all their hopes. But then we're thinking, well, that's contradicting itself. It's not that we're going to have no hope, but what is it we're going to let go of in the hope? That's what we're going to try and understand here. Kende asa mansa sagal tyage jagte rahe nirasa. Pacha is saying that person that remains niras, that remains beyond, desireless in this life. How do they remain desireless? It's not that they don't have any desire. How is it that you have desires in life but you remain desireless? Pacha ji kende चिंता ताकी कीजिए जो अनहोनी हुए, इहो मार्ग संसार को नानक थिर नहीं कोई. Pacha ji saying that person gur kirpa jeh narko kini te eh jugat pashani, nanak leen pyo gobind syo jo pani sang pani. Guru Pacha ji saying that person, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Pacha saying, that person nanak leen pyo gobind syo. Leen meaning when somebody just becomes one and emerges back with Waheguru Ji. That is the nishani. How do we know somebody has merged back with Waheguru Ji? They will have all that in their life, everything that we've just discussed through Guru Sahib Ji's Bani today. But is it easy to be there? Pacha ji saying, ustat ninda, how will we get there? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਸਤਤ ਨਿੰਦਾ ਦੋ ਤਿਆਗੇ ਖੋਜੇ ਪਦ ਨਿਰਬਾਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ it's when we become beyond, when we rise above ustat praise, ustat ninda, even slander, ustat ninda do tyage, when we let go of both. Letting go of both means when we don't do it ourselves and we're not affected by when somebody's doing it to us. Ustat ninda do tyage khoje, that person that is khojing, that is in deep search, khoje pad nirbana, pad means state of mind, pad nirbana. What state of mind? Nirbana. Nirban. What is Nirban? Pachi saying kende Nirban kirtan gavaho karte ka nimak simrat jit shoote. Nirban is when you praise God in an absolute desireless state. When we actually call Vaheguruji in an absolute desireless state, only then will we become one with Vaheguruji. If we haven't yet become one with Vaheguruji, if we still have duality, that means we haven't yet called Vaheguruji in an absolute desireless state. We sometimes might think, well, I think I do call out to Vaheguruji without any other desire. These things are so deep rooted that we might not even notice. They're so sukham and they're so fine. There's things that are inside of us because they've been traveling with us. Our desires for other things in life have been traveling with us for so long. Because Pacha ji saying, kende Nirban Kirtan, kende when you praise, kende when you sing out to Vaheguruji, when you call Vaheguruji, Kes Kabir, Keso, Keso, Kukiye, Na Soye, Asar. When we get to that stage in life, kende Keso meaning referring to Vaheguruji, that Vaheguruji with beautiful long hair, Kabir ji saying. Kende Kabir, Keso, Keso, Kukiye, Kukiye means when you cry out to Vaheguruji. Kende Kabir keso kukiye na soye asar. Kende when I never go to sleep. What does it mean never going to sleep? When Maya cannot win me over now. When this illusionary world, when falsehood cannot win me over anymore. When I cry out to Vaheguruji from everything that I've got inside of me. Gurmukh rom rom harte aave Kabir keso kukiye na soye asar. Kende raat divas ke kukne kabhu. Ke sune pakar kende ek din sunuga jarur when you cry out to him day and night. But what does it have to be like? Even if for that one moment, for that moment it takes for us to blink our eyes. Kende Nirban, if we call out to Vaheguruji absolutely without no other desire other than the desire of wanting Vaheguruji, what will happen to us then? Kende Nirban kirtan gavaho karte ka, kende nimak simrat jit shoote, kende it will take a nimak, it takes just one little moment. That moment it takes for us to blink our eye, and the nimak simrat. If we remember Vaheguruji in an absolute desireless state, and nimak simrat, the jit shoote will escape from the jams, from the messengers of death, will escape from Maya, will escape from falsehood, will escape from Kaam, Krodh, Lobh, Hankar. Because Pacha ji ne kehta, kende Kankhi eke dars tuharo. If we've got that pain from wanting to have darshan or wanting to become one with Vaheguruji, but there must be no other desire at that moment left in our life. Kende Kankhi means desire. Eke, now there's only one left. If we want to be with one, if we want to be with the Ek Akal Purkh Vaheguruji, then Gursikh Pyar, there only must be one desire left. There can't be any desires left. If we want to be with one, then there has to be one inside, only inside of us, calling out to only one. Kende Kankhi eke dars tuhara nanak un sang mohe udharu. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pacha ji kende if there is anybody out there that is calling out to Vaheguruji in that state of mind, kende nanak un sang, kende with that person mohe udharu, kende save me as well. Because I know if somebody's reached that stage, they're gonna be saved. Kende mainu vi naal hi leke jaiyo. Guru Pacha ji saying, a lot of people talk, Gursikh Pyare, because he's talking about a Sehaj Avastha now. A lot of people talk about that when somebody reaches their Dasam Dwar, when somebody's Dasam Dwar opens, when that 10th gate opens, when they start to remain in that realm of the 10th gate, that's when you get to be with God. And people are trying many different things to reach that state. Some people are trying it through breath methods, through yogic postures and yogic breathing. The Gursikh Pyareo, asal vich apne vaste, it's none of those things. It's not the way we breathe that's going to get us there, because remember Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paat Ji said, कहंदे हर आराधना जाना रे, हर हर गुर गुर करता रे, कहंदे हर जियो नाम परियो रामदास. कहंदे I just cried out to Waheguru Ji and people started calling me the servant of God. What does it mean for us? What is that opening of the 10th gate for us and to be with Waheguru Ji? Some people say, I know my Dasam Dwar has opened because I can feel a sensation in my head. Some people say, I know my Dasam Dwar has opened because I feel physically in a certain way. No, Gursikh Pyaro, that's not how we're going to look at that my Dasam Dwar has opened, that 10th gate has opened. How are we going to look at? How do we know if I've reached that Dasam Dwar? How do I know that that 10th gate has opened for me, that I'm experiencing Waheguru Ji now? We're going to ask Tan Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paat Ji, Apni Kazvati Keval Baniya, not how I feel, not the physical state of my body, of what I feel. Nahi. पर आपां गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी ने पातशाह ने पूछा, कहते पातशाह जी हो, कहते मैं पहुंचा उत्थे तां पातशाह जी फिर आपां नूं दसूगे. कहते पातशाह जी कहते what does it mean to be in सहज अवस्था? कहते गुरमुख अंतर सहज है, मन चढ़िया दसवे आकाश. कहते गुरमुख अंतर सहज है, कहते that person will be experiencing that सहज अवस्था. Man chadya dasve akash, whose mind goes now into that dasama akash. Akash means sky, into the 10th sky. The 10th sky meaning the 10th gate. How do I know I'm there? Kende Gurmukh antar sahaj, they'll be in a sahaj avastha. All those avasthas that we all went through, not being affected by hark and sog, by pleasure, by joy, all those things, that person that is there living in that state, that's when you can say, हाँ भाई ये 10वें द्वार तक पहुंच गया, ਇਹਦਾ 10वां द्वारा खुल गया. ये नहीं सोचना करके किसी ने सा किसी पासे चढ़ा लिया. ये नहीं कि करके हुन कोई गुरमंत्र, कोई ढंग, कोई तरीके नाल, कोई जुगती नाल जपदा हुन साह उत्ते नूं चढ़ा के किसी दा मंत्र किसी पासे चल गए. इनू नहीं कहंदे 10वां द्वार खुलना. पातशाह जी नूं पुछिए, गुरमुख अंतर सहज मन चढ़िया 10वें आकाश, तिथै ऊंग ना भुख है. कहंदे तिथे, how do I know I'm in that 10th gate? कहंदे तिथे, in that place, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Paatshah Ji, Guru Amardas Ji Paatshah Ji, कहंदे तिथे, कहंदे in that place तिथे ऊंग, there's no ऊंगना. तिथे ऊंग ना भुख है. कहंदे उत्थे ना ऊंग है ना भुख है. हुण आपां सोचदे ऊंगना की है करके आम करे जे इत्थे हुण जंप पा लेण, नहीं पता ऊंगना दा मतलब की है. ऊंगना in Punjabi, somebody say, कहंदे देखो, कहंदे ऊंगदा पिया है. ऊंगदा means when somebody starts to fall asleep. When somebody's sitting there trying to be alert but they just can't help themselves. That किसी ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਝੋਕ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਵੇ and somebody just starts falling asleep and they're sitting there and they start nodding off. That's what it means to ungana. ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਤਿੱਥੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ when you reach that avastha, that state of mind, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ nobody starts, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ nobody falls asleep there. And we're thinking, is it wrong to physically fall asleep there? ਨਹੀਂ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ. Karpacha ne kende alapahar sulpasi nindra. Guru Sahib Ji didn't say don't sleep, they said sleep in control. Alapahar sulpasi nindra, kende inu saab naal rakhna neend nu. So this doesn't mean that if somebody physically falls asleep, it's talking about when somebody falls asleep to kaam, krodh, lobh, mohankar. When somebody from inside falls asleep and lets krodh rob them. When somebody falls asleep and lets lust rob them. When somebody lets falsehood rob them, when somebody lets maya rob them, falling asleep from inside, no, their mind now never falls asleep, they are forever awakened from inside. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤਿੱਥੇ ਊਂਗਣਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਾਇਆ ਦੀ ਨੀਂਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਊਂਗਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤਿੱਥੇ ਊਂਗਣਾ ਭੁੱਖ ਹੈ, they don't feel hungry anymore. And we're thinking physically that person never feels hungry when they got inside avastha. No, not physically, because Guru Sahib Ji said, remember, they said, I'm in awe of Waheguru Ji for giving me that gift of hunger. Vismad Pok. So then how can we say it's talking about physical hunger? No. Pok meaning desires here. They won't have any inner desires burning them from inside anymore, from any worldly desires. Like we said, we explained that as well. What does it mean to be at that state of mind? It means when Sacha Naam Mera Adharo, Sach Naam Adhar Mera Jin Pukha Sab Gavanya. ਕਰ ਸਾਂਤ ਸੁਖ ਮਨ ਆਏ ਵਸਿਆ ਜਿਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਸਭ ਪੁਜਾਈਆਂ. Even though my mind has a hope to do something, but my mind isn't attached to that hope, I can accept if that doesn't go through as well. ਤਿੱਥੇ ਊਂਗ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਖ ਹੈ ਹਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਨਾਮ ਸੁਖ ਵਾਸ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੁਖ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਸਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ. That's what it means when we actually find a place and we've actually found true sukh, true peace of mind inside. That's what it means, Gursikh Pyaro, for our dasam dwar, for our 10th gate to be open. It means when the other 9 are in absolute control, when my eyes are in control from looking at the beauty of another, when my ears are in control from listening to slander, when my tongue is in control, rasna nahi, when Pacha ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਿੱਥਿਆ ਨਾਹੀ ਰਸਨਾ ਪਰ ਸਮਾਨ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਨਿਰੰਜਨ ਦਰਸ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਿੱਥਿਆ ਨਾਹੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਿੱਥਿਆ, what does mithya mean? False. Mithya means lies. Mithya nahi rasna pars. Rasna means tongue, pars means to touch. They said my tongue does not now touch falsehood. My tongue now does not touch lies. Mithya nahi rasna pars man mein preet, because why? My mind is in love now. Man mein preet niranjan dars. My mind is in love, is in yearning for wanting to be with Waheguru Ji now. So Gursikh Pyareo, that is when, how do we know somebody is one with Akal Purkh? That is what Sehaj Avastha is. That is the state that there will be in Gursikh Pyareo.
Vaheguru